Hey everyone, it has been 6 weeks since my last update. It's been forever. Couple reasons for that. I got married, which is cool, obviously. That took maybe 2 weeks of late September, early October. Not to mention all the planning, all the work, just really slowed down game development. Um, and then went on a short honeymoon and got back. Uh, I also had some real problems figuring out what my game was going to become, and that took a lot of focused coding. So I just put my head down and kind of stopped with the blogging and updating just for a little bit. And now I'm starting to feel back on track and in the groove and picking it back up. So sorry I was gone forever. Let me bring you up to speed on what I've got. Couple things. One is kind of looking at what the map would look like. A couple things I've implemented: zooming with pinching your fingers, and then scrolling with a little bit of. It finds out which way you're directing and puts like a graceful motion at the end of the scroll. We've got this little character here. He can walk now. He's got multiple directions, which back animation is something new that no one's seen before. He can also Pathfinding is the huge one that I've been working on. There's a nav mesh going on under the scenes with some line of sight detection, and I'm going to talk about that, like technically what I'm doing there in a little bit. And then there's still bugs. Like I'm going to click. It's going to take him forever. Let's see if he gets there while I'm showing other stuff. If we go to, I'm going to go over here for a little bit. On that level, some just other things I've been working on is how to animate water. Working with my illustrator, he came up with these concepts. This one is where you would cycle like 3 frames and just keep repeating those 3 frames, which gives it somewhat of a unique look. This is that same technique with just a different, more of a blurred brush, whereas this is more of a specific brush. And then this last one would be kind of like a mask node, where the same exact masked image is just cycling through beneath. Personally, I like this one the most, but I want to see like on the whole screen what it looks like. Also, you saw the new map. We are about right now. There's probably 4 maps done, 2 started. I've got a bit of story working, which let's see if I can show you the story. Some of you may have seen this screen on Twitter already, but that's an example of what the story will look like. And then of those maps, so here's how they start. I kind of give like a exact spacing of how things need to be laid out. And then he'll come back with a couple tests of width and an initial draft of what the map might look like. And then if you just go down, you can see it progress over time. Let's see, between this one and this one, we fixed the isometric issues with the perspective not being correct. And then you're left with the final. So story, 30% of the story is done. 4 maps started, 4 maps finished, 2 started, and then characters is the last thing to show you, animation. So I've shown a lot of these on Twitter. I'll just show a couple more. People have seen these characters just in the soldiers. People have seen the different soldiers that the game might have. So what I did is I took I started working with an animator, and we took the game and divided it into 3 separate contracts, which will be roughly 20, roughly 10 good characters, 10 bad characters, and 5 to 6 heroes that have more than one. They don't just walk and attack, they have special attacks and things like that. So we're on the first set of those contracts now, which is the good characters. And let me just show some of those that I've shown before. So there's the archer attacking and the archer walking, and we'll continue down that road, which is super exciting. So everything's in motion, story written, animation started, contract started. It's all, coming along good. The real dilemma is what the game's going to be. So we're back on this screen. I'll probably break Pathfinding if I click here, which I did. You can see it crash, and that's okay. There's a lot of bugs and a lot of work, and it took me a while to understand how Pathfinding should work, and I'm still working through that, and I imagine that's going to be at least this week, if not more. The second part is what the game is. I've talked about it before. The closest that I can come up with is Warhammer Dark Omen, some heavy inspiration from that. It'll be like if we look at this other build of the game. I spent the portion of time I wasn't pathfinding was working on formations and how they should move, learning about circles and matrix and translating a matrix and rotating a matrix, and just understanding a lot of math that I forgot since college and high school. So these guys, I think they'll kind of walk here. This is a good example. This is just a proof of concept pathfinding, whereas the other one is trying to do a final implementation. But you can see these guys wheel, and they kind of walk while they wheel. They don't just pivot on a point. I'm playing with trying to make them look real. Other ideas are to stagger them, a tenth of a second, so they're not all in the same animation, obviously. They're going to go to a point here, pivot a little, direct to the next point, go to the next point. Now here's a bug where they should turn right, but my math is wrong, and they're turning the opposite. It's a bug with negative radians and positive radians. Anyway, they're going to come around, and you can just watch them walk just to see kind of how formations might work in this game. Here, they'll hit this point, pivot and walk to the next, and then they'll end up at their target destination. So looking at that looks obviously horrible. Once I can get walking and pathfinding and formations just to comfortably move in a natural way on this map, that's a huge portion of the game. Combat, I'll be able to carry a ton of combat over from the tower defense game I was making. There's a lot of that code, damage over time, targeting, the state engine, just the behavior of each individual. I just have to expand upon that in a lot of cases. So that's good. So this game will be kind of open combat, real time, hopefully, with a story and good art and animations. Anyway, I just posted on the blog the tough time the past 6 weeks were in terms of finding an animator and working with contracts and spending money and figuring out what my game is going to be, just stressed and down and really not into the whole game development thing. So now back to here where it's becoming fun again. But you should go check out that post. And I think that's about it for this week. Hopefully, we expand upon this in 2 weeks when you hear from me again. Talk to you guys later.